to do a current interpretation of late 50s jazz is cool, right? But if you're such a purist that any tweaking of the recipe is no longer kosher, that's where it's kind of like, well, I don't know though. The people that you're hailing as the masters, they were evolving.
They already tweaked the forms before them.
Hi, I'm Norm. I was born and raised in Japan, and I'm half Japanese. When I was a kid, I took a couple strings off an old guitar, and that was the beginning of my career as a bass player. Two of my favorite things are music and sushi. Welcome to my home. I'm Norm Stockton, and this is Grooves and Sushi. I love making music with players who understand sensitivity and nuance. Our cast of musicians today includes the amazing Mr. Brandon Phillips on trumpet, the ever-sublime keyboardist Mr. Rob Renderer, the groove purveyor Mr. Philip Greenwood on drums, woodwind virtuoso Mr. Keith Felch on soprano saxophone, and the vibe infuser Mr. Justin Hepner on guitar. There's no lack of anticipation for Chef Kevin's truly amazing sushi, which awaits us once we're done tracking. The featured song today is a vibey jazz ballad entitled Amber. While some of us have worked together in the past, this band has never played together, and this song has never been performed before this taping.
What's your sushi background?
My introduction to it was actually at this place in Long Beach called Volcano. My family, everyone just ordered one, and they were like, try it. And because I was always like, oh no, it's like raw? Like, what is that? I'm like, why are you eating that? But when I tried it, I was like, oh man, this is the greatest thing ever. And then I just looked back on all those years that I just never had sushi. And I was like, oh man, like, this is crazy.
You gotta make up lost time. That's an interesting phenomenon because it's like, at what point did jazz get solidified to the point that it now, okay, so that's jazz.
I don't think it ever did. I mean, what do you think?
There's like 14 classifications of different different types of jazz within the last 30 years. And probably more subsets than that. It's like it's Chicago XYZ and the LA sound and all of that. So I don't know anything about rap. But having said that, these guys can talk about, oh, well, that's the Chicago style that was, this happened, you know, between 70 and 75 and just, I mean, it totally loses me, but they get into the science of what happened
it's all the history,
along the way. And I imagine some of them are purists too. You know, like the way rap is going now or whatever, they might like it to stay the way it was.
The good old days.
I think you can just pick your style of music, and there will be people that don't want to see it evolve.
Sometimes has to do with the age of a person too, because if you're somebody, you know, let's take my parents, you know, they listen to music a certain way, and then me being younger, I listen to that and it's like, I like what you guys have, but I'm younger, I want to do something new, you know. So sometimes, and to go back to, you know, what he was saying about the rap thing, it's like, it's the same with rap music too. It's like, you know what, no, when this came out, this was for this, and now it's almost like the new stuff. Sometimes people feel like the newer things are losing that element of what made that.
So it's almost like human nature is to latch on to the era or the version of it that resonates with you.
Right.
And then it's like that's it, right?
Now that was great music then.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think as musicians, it's different as players because I think it's part of our process is to stay up with what's going on, and maybe we like some of it and some of it we don't, you know, but it's kind of part of our job to like not just stay necessarily with what we've always done when we were kids, when we were younger. So I think it's different for musicians than the average listener. So we're in like some town in Florida near Miami. I forget what the town was, and the drummer and I said we had the night off, and we said, well, let's go see a movie. So we go see this movie, and we get out of the movie, and first of all, we realize, well, this area isn't that great. And like, this was before cell phones. And it's like, we need to get back to the hotel. We had took a taxi there.
Yeah.
And wait, what hotel were we at?
Oh, no.
Dude.
We had no idea. Like, we could not think of the name of the hotel. And we were looking for like a payphone, but like, you know, who do we call?
So what time was it at this point?
Oh, it was like, 1 or 2 in the morning. And there's drunk people walking around everywhere. And so we finally, we go, well, we got to do something. So we finally found like a 7-Eleven, and there was like a payphone. And we were trying to figure out like who to call, like back in LA, we couldn't get anybody. And this guy pulls up in a van, and it was like a taxi van. And he goes, oh, you guys need a ride? And we're like, yeah, we need a ride, you know. They go, what hotel? And it's like,
well, that's there's the rub.
So he opens up a 12-pack and starts drinking.
He's prepared for the long haul.
He's really like, he's on off hours, you know. But he's like going to drive us around. So he drives us around to 8 hotels. Is it this one? No.
This is near Miami.
This is like my
there's a lot of hotels.
Yeah. Finally, like, okay, this is the one. And so we gave him like $100 or something.
And
we were so happy to get back. Oh, it was probably like 3:30.
what's going on, man?
Sashimi plate. We got toro, Tasmanian salmon, yellowtail belly, wood fire seared, red snapper, albacore taco.
Good gracious.
Tasmanian salmon.
Well,
I watched that. That was around when Bugs Bunny was. Get the Tasmanian salmon.
I need my salmon to come from as far away as possible.
Yeah. Tasmania is just past the line we're all accepting it.
I would love for you to tell the thing about, but
Which one?
I don't
Which
think
one?
I don't think we can. Okay, we can edit it out, but I mean the laundry thing.
Oh, okay, great. So,
But is that going to get you in trouble?
I mean,
Okay, well, what can they do to you
You were
now?
going to edit it out.
Okay, so don't mention the band name.
okay.
I mean,
So there's this. I'll say this. Maybe you'll catch them. It's this punk rock group. They have a very crazy name. You've heard it. It has to do with.
Yeah, okay.
But anyways, so the lead guy, lead singer, he doesn't do his own laundry.
On the road.
On the road, he doesn't. He doesn't do his own laundry. So the bass player, who is currently in the band, mutual friend of me and Norm's, this is his favorite band. Like, this is like his favorite band. So now he's the bass player for it. So, you know, he's on cloud nine.
His dreams have come true.
So, so the lead singer calls laundry time sexy laundry time. That's what he calls it.
But he doesn't do his own.
But he doesn't do his own laundry. So the bass player does this dude's laundry on the road.
Wow.
that's called what?
Sexy laundry time.
Just wanted
Now,
to say
see, now this is this is how this whole thing came about.
I would just have to interject.
Go ahead.
I don't know what the algorithm is, but my day rate is substantially impacted if I'm doing your laundry.
It's higher. It's crazy because one of my guys who currently is in the band, but used to be a guitar tech, you know, he had to do it, you know, and it's like a thing.
It's a rite of passage.
And then I remember this one time, my first run with the guys, I was in Canada, and he was like, dude, I ain't doing his laundry. He was like, you got to do his laundry. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like,
Did you not know the routine?
no. So I was like, wait, what do you mean? So, you know, me, I'm a good, not a good sport. That's not really what it is. But it's like, well, you know.
You try to be a good guy.
I'm like, okay. But keep that in the bag, though, and dump it, and there it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
But the bass player has had to sync this guy's stuff sometimes. Like, sync, do it. And I'm like.
there's such a thing as progressive without tradition, right? So you set down fundamental principles. And so progressiveness may be a reaction to or a response to tradition. It may be perceived as positive or negative, but without tradition and fundamentals bound by time and space from back when, there is no progression, right? And new generations will see it through different eyes. They'll make it with their own hands. But I think sushi and jazz alike, there's a certain spirit about a movement like that. So the spirit of jazz would be that improvisational element that you're talking about. So for sushi, it's sitting right in front of us, right? It's raw fish. But we get so lost in how that we can almost reject some of the actual spirit of it all and not try it or have it at all because it's not like it was. And I think there's a little bit of that plays into any movement. But the improvisational element of music in general, I think, and then specifically in jazz, is massive in its importance. So I think the wise among us as musicians will look at any music and find what's good about it
Right.
And those honestly are the older people bound by tradition that I love, where they're like, they'll look at the new and find what's good rather than just criticize, or they'll connect with it. But I think it's us looking back and connecting with like the original gift of that music and figuring out how it's connected to the now. That stuff is what gets me excited watching that, and like that eclectic blending of styles is so powerful.
The juxtaposition is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's actually, and you guys probably, we haven't actually talked about this, but with Grooves and Sushi, there's definitely a juxtaposition of, like, we're using some of the EDM-ish types of sounds and kind of from more contemporary pop music almost. Mm-hmm. You know, we're doing this jazz ballad kind of a thing, but we've got your textural stuff going behind it. To me, it's like, that resonates with me. I love the kind of, wow, that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, there were sections where Brandon, who had to bail, the trumpet guy, but he was doing solos over essentially a rock rhythm section, but the changes weren't really rock. They were still like major 7 chords and, you know, harmonically interesting stuff, like Stocktones. That's one of the, to me, one of the favorite things I like about the Stocktones is the fact that they respect the traditions and they tweak the traditions and they merge things in interesting ways.
That's right.
And that to me is why I love playing music, you know.
They create something completely new, but they're taking from all kinds of different styles of music.
And they're not being snobs about any of them.
God is the author of creativity. He's the one that created us. So my ability to create whatever I can do came from him. It's not really something, I wasn't born one day and it's like, here, let me show you guys how to play keyboard. You know, it was like he gave me that ability. I had to work at it, but he gave me the ability to work at it. I feel like without him putting breath in my lungs and you know, so I feel like it all comes from him.
Right.
So I think it's just more a matter of like, do we recognize that it comes from him, or do we like hold on to our music like we're the creator of this music? You know, I think it's a little bit of a mindset.
No,
do you want
not
this
yet.
or do you want that?
I'll take that. Thank you.
Norm, just go for it. I know which one you want.
Ouch, ouch.
Isn't that salmon stellar though?
That's all
The salmon is so
You
good.
guys want another one of these?